Greetings, users and programs.
That's so loud.
So loud.
So loud.
Is it so much louder out there than it is right here? No? So we have to talk into the microphone.
James.
Yeah. So if we just hold the microphone down here, it's good, right?
Right.
All right. So welcome to our very first Play and Grow Rich Life Lessons from Video Games panel. This is Jane Poston, my sister.
You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, all that fun stuff. I stream horror games, indie games. Right now I'm playing Chrono Trigger for the first time. So that's, yeah, I know, for the first fucking time, right? But I'm enjoying it, so
Absolutely.
come hang out.
She's doing a blast. She hit, what do they call it?
I hit affiliate.
Affiliate.
Yeah.
In less than a month, right?
It took me about 45 days.
Good to go.
So,
What's
having
up,
my
man?
first giveaway in the next couple weeks. I'm trying to get to 100 followers, so if you follow me, you'll automatically be entered to win some very special prizes.
Follow her if you want to live.
Dun.
Okay, so life lessons from video games. Did you know that this whole time that you've been growing up playing video games, that you've been learning skills?
I don't think they know, James.
I think they're about to know.
They
They're
are.
about to learn. You've been learning skills, nunchuck skills, bow staff skills.
Some roguelike skills. Yep, diplomacy. Sneak level increased.
You've been learning skills playing video games that will help you in everyday life. Okay, so in IRL, if you will. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Oh, that's Charlie? Oh my God, I've met into Charlie a couple times then. Good to go. So while we're up here this evening, kind of what I want you to imagine, if you were trying to learn something in a video game, if you were trying to figure something, if you came across a hurdle or came across a boss that you were not able to beat, like what would you do? How would you handle that?
Probably do the same thing like 10 times over again.
Yes.
Right.
After you've tried it 10 times and failed and failed and failed, like what are some things you could do to get over that? So, like, what would you like to learn? If you have something specific that you'd like to cover this evening, by all means, we'll have time for that. So just throw that out there. But maybe how to learn something new. Maybe you might have some, like if you're anything like me, I grew up social anxiety. I think a lot of us might have had social anxiety. So what are some things that you would like to learn how to overcome?
Motivation.
Motivational.
I lack that. I can barely get out of bed every morning. You hit the snooze like 15 times. Come on, I'm not the only one that does that.
You're not the
shit.
only one.
I'm not the
You're
only one.
not the only one. So when I was growing up as a kid, it wasn't cool to be a nerd yet. It wasn't cool to be a nerd yet. Like nowadays, they got Marvel movies coming out. It's like almost cooler to be a nerd than not. Like I'm very jealous of the millennials these days.
When he says nerd, he's not exaggerating. He had the bottle glasses. He had the pants, up to here, the high waters, the whole.
Hey, you don't have to tell them all my secrets, okay?
I may or may not have pictures. Find me afterwards.
So I kind of grew up in that in-between stage of like analog and digital. You guys, who else in the room had the problem of stay off the phone or, stay off the internet because mom needs to use the phone? You guys remember that?
Or his little sister.
Or did anybody else have those little those rotary phones where you actually dialed the phone? Like, oh my God. So, what's up? We have, what'd you say? Be kind, rewind.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hug it in, man.
So I grew up like in between the analog and the digital age, so I grew up with video games. I remember like some of the most like clear memories I have growing up are from walking into the room and seeing Super Mario Brothers or Mario Brothers on the Nintendo 64 for the first time.
Or finding out that I deleted his Final Fantasy VII.
Save.
Save.
It was
yeah.
Secret of Mana.
When I was younger, yes. I wanted to play too, damn it.
Who else remembers their first video game experience? Like their very first one. What was yours?
My brother was playing Sonic, and I wanted to play as Tails, and he said no.
Oh.
That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking.
That's harsh.
He didn't want me to play.
That's harsh.
My first rule was
Yeah, Mario
All-Star,
All-Stars. Very nice.
Yep.
First one I actually physically played.
Very nice. So these were very pinnacle moments of life for me. Very pinnacle moments. I had no idea at the time that I was learning things that would help me become very successful in different endeavors throughout the future of my life. So why am I up here? Why should you listen to what we're going to be teaching you up here this evening?
Attention.
My background, I spent about 6 years in the Marine Corps. I got injured. They told me I had to get out. So I started just floundering a little bit, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. What's the next game I'm going to play? And over the past 10 or 15 years, what'd you say? Yes, Coffits. So over the past 10 or so years, I've built up some businesses that are roughly in about 20 states, operating in about 20 states now. So I've reached a certain level of success. You know,
Je ne sais quoi.
je ne sais quoi. What does that mean?
I don't know. No, really, it means I don't know.
So
Exactly.
So let's just say if we were playing a video game, if there were 100 levels in it, we'd be at like level 80, 98, 99 or so. So how did I do this? I mean, look at me. Do I look special? Do I look different?
You look special.
Do I look like I have the magical powers over the women?
No.
No, not at all. Again, you don't have to tell them all my secrets.
That's what I'm here for.
What I did was I took all the things that I've been learning from video games, my life as a gamer growing up, and figured out how I could apply those lessons to everyday life, to the goals that I was deciding to chase after. So why are we up here in the first place? One of my major goals in life is to influence as many people as I can, especially people like us, gamers like us, to actually get up and chase after their dreams as opposed to just dreaming those dreams. How many times have either we seen or maybe us ourselves been like, man, I wish I could learn this.
You want to draw.
I wish I could
create
do that.
something.
I wish I could play guitar, but I wish I
There you
could
go.
start my own business, but I wish, but. And we come up with all these reasons, all these excuses. So my major goal here this evening is to help you realize that you have, as a gamer, you have been learning the skills you need to get started. And as a gamer, you have all the ability and skills. You know how to learn the things you need to do to succeed at whatever that endeavor is that you choose to go after. Okay? So, one thing what we're going to do right now, like I said, keep this in the back of your brain. So if you have a hurdle coming into your life, I want you to kind of think about, what are some things I could do to help me overcome this hurdle from the things I've learned from playing video games? And we're going to come back. That's going to be a major thing we're going to hit here in a little bit. But what would you normally do? Just what would you normally do if you came across something? Don't answer yet, but we're going to cover that here in a little bit. What we're going to do right now, we are going to play a game. So what I need everybody to do is break off into little circles of 4 would be optimal. How many people do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Christian. Yeah.
1, 2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3,
Billy,
4
did
over
you
here.
join them? You guys mind being in a group right here?
So what I
Cool.
want you guys to do, kind of put yourselves in a little circle. You move the chairs, whatever you need to do.
You can stay where you are. You can just
And you're
yell
going
at
to need
each
your
other.
X's and Y's.
I was thinking about
Yeah, that. So the gender neutral bathrooms I absolutely adore, because I walked in and there's a bunch of guys in the urinals and I'm just like, I just need to wash my hands, man. That was a great conversation. Yeah, they have gender neutral, right? So that you don't know which is the male or female, like, according to whomever. So like I said, I just walked in and there's these guys just like hanging out. And I'm like, hey. They were chill about it though, so good for them. Yeah. Yeah. And don't freak out, guys. This isn't Whose Line. The points don't matter.
So you guys are going to want to move the chairs like these guys did. You're going to want to do that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to crumple your X's and Y's if you need new X's and Y's.
I did that when I was Billy. It's his fault.
Oh, gotcha. Just so that way people can't see what you've got. If you need new X's and Y's, good to go. Good to go. All right. So this game, the rules on this particular game that are in front of you, they are showing you, like if we were playing it with a huge old crowd. So we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. There are prizes, many prizes available.
Ooh.
Many prizes available. Okay, so.
And free hugs.
Okay. So the title of this activity is called Win as Much as You Can. You are to keep that goal in mind throughout this experience. There are 3 rules. The first rule is you are not to communicate with the other people in your little quartet.
No talking.
Unless specifically told to participate or to communicate, okay? What you're going to do is every turn, you're going to pick either X or Y. And you're going to place it face down.
No options, just put X or Y.
All right? So, and then based on the number of people that played X and the number of people that played Y, then the scores are going to be tallied up differently. And you can see the payoff schedule here below. Okay? So let's do a practice round real quick. So everybody pick X or Y. So 4X is
James,
everybody
do you have
loses?
The pens.
Oh, yeah, we need pens. They're right here. Where? There they are.
Billy will be passing out our pens. He's our official pen boy.
So if everybody picks X, everybody loses a point or $1. If 3 of you pick X, everybody that picks an X wins 1 point, and the person that picks Y loses 3 points.
The dollars are
2
points.
people picks X. It's right here on your score sheet. So that's how we're going to tally it up. Okay? So let's do a practice round. Anybody got questions real quick?
Once we play a round,
We're going to play a round. If you still got questions, let me know. But I think after
promise
we
you'll
play
get
one round, you guys will figure it out. All right? So everybody pick either their X or the Y, put it in front of them. 3, 2, 1, flip.
Flip.
All right. So we've got 3 X's and 1 Y. So what we would do here, we would tally. So he lost a point, and you guys all gained a point, right?
And we got 3 Ys. We have 3 Ys
Right.
over here, James.
3 Ys.
3 Ys.
Oh, man. And who played the X? Eric. All right. So you get how many? So you would have gotten that how many points? Based on the tally. How many points would you have gotten since you played the X and they all played Y? You would get 3 points. So this is the practice round. Just so everybody got it. What you guys got over there? What do we got over there? I can't pull over there. 1X and 3 Ys. All right, so that's the practice round. Anybody got any questions about how that works and how the scoring just happened?
Did all the Ys?
So everybody who picked Y, so if you picked the Y, look at the payoff schedule. How many points did you get? If you picked X, how many points did you get?
They have 3 Ys.
You lose 3 points since you picked Y. Now remember, the game is called Win as Much as You Can.
So we have to kind of guess what we think everyone else is going to do.
That's pretty much it. All right. Okay, so now, for real this time, round 1.
Fight.
3, 2, 1, go. All right. So what do we got? 2 Y's over here and 2 X's.
We got 4 Ys over here.
4 Y's. Interesting. What do we got over here?
No. So with the 4 Ys, you all get 1 point.
Very nice. Very nice.
So
Very interesting.
win as much as you can, guys.
Win
as much
as
you
much
can.
as you can. All right.
You're trying to
right.
get as much as you
All right,
can.
we're gonna do. You guys ready for the next round? Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, flip.
Flip.
So we got 3 X's and a Y over here. What do we got over here?
He's still deciding. Flip it. All right. So you guys get
Very
one other
interesting.
point.
What do we got this time? We got got 3 Ys.
Hachi, are you
3
winning as much
Ys
as
and
you
an
can?
X.
Are you winning as much as you can?
3 Ys and an X. Win as much as you can. 3, 2, 1, flip. Oh.
As much as you can. Another point,
What do we got?
guys.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. What round are we on right now?
We're entering the fourth.
Entering the 4th round.
All right.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, flip.
All right. Win as much as you can, guys. Ding,
Okay.
ding, ding.
Now we're about to enter the 5th round. About to enter the
Bonus
5th round. The payoff for this round is 3 times what it normally would be. Now, what I would like you to do is chat with your little quartet and talk about what your strategy is.
Make the most money. Win as much as you can, guys.
Now, how much would your strategy change if I told you there's $20 on the table for winning this game? I didn't. I didn't know we could do that. Is it too late?
What did he say?
He said we could have asked for M points and gotten for prizes. All right. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1, flip. What happened over here? What happened over here? Did Hachi just screw the
Hachi
entire
screwed it up.
table over?
Hachi screwed it up.
So, well, he played an X.
3 Ys and an X.
So you lose 3 times as much. But Hachi makes us 3 times as much. What'd you guys do over there?
What did you guys get? What did you guys pick? All wise?
Very interesting.
All right. Huh?
So you guys got 3 times as many points. Make sure you triple the number of points you just got. So what if I told you guys that there was another 20? So the winner of this game receives all the money that I'm putting on this table as the night goes on. Right now it's at $20.
Tree fitty.
All right. Normal round. Discuss with your quartet what your strategy is and win as much as you can. You guys got 30 seconds. 30 seconds to discuss. You guys know what you're doing? Y'all talked amongst yourselves?
Dude.
You guys know what you're doing? Armstrong, you good? You guys got a strategy planned out?
Win as much as you can, guys. There's real money on the line. There's real money.
All right. 3, 2, 1, flip. Interesting. Interesting. What do we got over here? What do we got over there? What do we got over there, man?
James,
4 Ys. All right.
This is a normal round, right?
Is it just on that one round, or does all rounds after that count?
Just that one round. So,
I think we're on. It's a normal round, but I don't know if it's 6 or 7.
Everybody got one.
oh, gotcha.
What-
That was your bounce.
what round
Okay,
are we
very
on,
nice.
guys?
All right. 3, 2, 1, flip.
What round are we on?
We're on round. That was round 7.
All right.
Would you look at that? All right, now this one, bonus round. Payoff times 5. Discuss with your quartet.
5 times as many points.
5 times as many points on the line here, Charlie. 5 times. 15 seconds. Discuss. I think y'all, most of us got it figured out. 3, 2, 1, flip.
Hachi, what are you doing? Dude, this is the escape room all over again. We did an escape room with this dude, and he ended up closing the
He closed the
opening.
door after we figured out the puzzle, and we couldn't figure out how to do the puzzle again. All right.
What is
I
that?
think y'all got it figured out. I think so far Hachi is the only one that hasn't figured the game out. We're going to point him out. What's up, Steven? All right. 3, 2, 1, flip. All right. So what are we at now? We're at round 9? This is 9? Well, think back for a second because we're going to need the total here in a second. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
We'll find you. You're good. We'll find you, man.
Uh-oh. I lost my clock.
It's a Hachi.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, flip. Oh, we got an X.
He's
You guys,
just
we
a
got
troll.
Team consistency. We got 2 consistent teams over here. And we got 1. Huh? Is this the last one? Are we on round 9 or 10 right now? Huh?
If the temperature was my score, somebody would freeze to death.
That's what I'm trying to do. What are we on? That was 10? So that was 10. All right. So what if I told you the name of the game is win as much as you can? What's the most optimal way for you as a team to win as much as you can?
There you go.
3 people sacrifice themselves, one gets all the points, and that team wins.
That would be one strategy. What's the easiest strategy?
I can.
Tell us. What's the tell us what you learned from this.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, M, P, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, W, X, Y. Every time.
Why?
Why?
If you pick Y every time, everybody wins. But if you betray us and do X, then you win. So that's what I did at the end.
It wasn't the team should win every time, it's you should win.
All right, let's bring our tables back. Let's get.
I'm sorry because I love y'all. I apologize for my empathy making me a loser.
Gather back round.
If you learned any
the
lesson,
campfire.
you've known love can hurt you.
And GL Osiris, never gonna love.
Never gonna. Don't get me started. Never gonna love.
So, which team you think got the highest total of points? Everybody add up all their points. What's your balance, and then add them all up.
You're good, man.
So we got team A, B, C. All right. So team A, team B. How many points do you guys have total? 100 points. Did you guys figure it out on step 1?
Charlie figured it out pretty quickly. I could tell by the look in his eye. He was just like, I got this shit.
And you got 100 each? For 100 total. We got 100 total. Oh, wow.
What about you guys? What did this team? Not 100? Oh, I'm sorry, man. But how many rounds did it take before you figured out the whole Y thing?
Well, I think we were confused on the premise whether the individual was the highest.
That's the point.
That was the point.
Are you in it for yourself, or are you in it for everybody?
But see, so our strategy was we picked one person to get all the points, and then that person wins for the team and splits the pot so that the team wins.
That is a viable strategy.
What? Yeah. Not if you just rotate the negative. Yep. Not if you rotate the loser.
But the negative still exists.
Yeah. So total points, if you take the negative points, it negates out the other thing. Win as much as you can.
The only one that didn't have a loss was the one that said win.
So, after we're done, come up to me so that way I can distribute some prizes to you guys, okay?
Because I was choosing Y.
So, who in the room has played? I think a lot of people in the room have played Overwatch, right? A lot of people in the room have played Overwatch. So, when we're playing Overwatch, I could care less how many kills you get or how many healing points I get. Because even if we get the best stats in the game, but we don't focus on the objective, did we win? Not at all. The other team, the payload did not get there. Okay? So why should we care about helping others? Why should we care about making sure everybody on the team, like, because here's the thing, like, when we've got different parties, like RPGs, D&D, Pathfinder, everybody in the party, even people like, oh, I don't want to be the healer. But if you don't have a healer, you're screwed. No matter what you have, no matter what you bring to the team or what you think you don't bring to the team, I promise you, Charlie, I promise you, you have things, there's things that you're better at. There's things that you bring to the table that nobody else does. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It's
okay?
so corny, but it's so true. Yes, absolutely.
So why should we care about helping others, Angela?
We should care
Jane
about
Foster?
helping others because ultimately we do help ourselves. It's being able to work as the team, benefiting everybody as a whole. Do you not know how to do something? Like James mentioned earlier, are you trying to learn how to draw? Are you trying to make some small goals for yourself? Maybe join some kind of anime club, or you just don't know where to get started. Talk to people. Those people come to events like MAGLabs, and they are able to help you in the long run achieve your dreams. They're able to help you climb over these hurdles, these little achievements, to hit your goal. When we play a video game, you have to accomplish your small achievements before you can ultimately beat the game, right? So when you're playing the game of life, working as a team, you ultimately help yourself. When you appreciate the fact that you do wake up in the morning and get out of bed and make lunch for yourself. You do appreciate the fact that, you said hi to somebody today. Some of these are small and immaculate meanings to some people, but to others, they are giant oceans to overcome. You never know who you may impact by even just starting a conversation, by offering to help someone with something. Even little kids, like I'm not much of a kid person, I'm not gonna lie, but you never know how you're gonna impact that person's life. You see some little kid trying to paint his or her first miniature, that person could grow up and become a game developer. You just don't know how you can affect someone. Ultimately, by helping others, you help yourself. Because
Absolutely.
those people will probably have something that you will find valuable in the long run, whether it be friendship, whether it be being able to find you a hotel room at MagFest. It's the fact of the matter that with social media being the way it is today, I personally believe that we're getting so far apart from each other. But things like MAGLabs, where this small group, like it's awesome seeing you guys like communicate with each other, figuring out how to win. But it's amazing to see.
I've never seen that before, by the way.
Right.
You guys figured out first round. I've never seen that before. I've done this God knows how many times in different groups where, like, we're talking about people that make insane amounts of money and they
don't get it. They don't get it.
They don't get it.
It's great, though, to see the community growing. It's awesome to see that strangers are coming to panels, meeting new people, because you never know. You might change someone's life.
Absolutely. And so you're talking about those achievements. Why do you think that games nowadays have – do you remember the first time you turned on – I want to say it was probably Xbox 360, and that was like the birth of achievements. You guys remember that? Like it goes bleep. And you're like, what was that? And they're like, congratulations, you just turned on the game. You get an achievement. You're like, what the hell is that for? Like,
Right.
yeah.
You should be able to celebrate your own personal achievements, no matter how big or how small, because it's just being able to celebrate yourself you see people supporting others all the time. Am I wrong? Like even in Wreck the System, you see people constantly like, oh, you guys did an awesome job. But those people that are congratulating you may be going through something themselves. They also need to learn how to congratulate and pat themselves on the fucking back.
Well, think about that. Why do they put those little achievements in the game? Because here's what a lot of people do. That, like when I'm coaching them and helping them build their business and whatnot, a lot of times I'll see people and they'll be like, well, I'll just put things off. I'll just put it off. I'll just put it off. They call it delayed gratification. By all means, I'm a huge fan of delayed gratification. You guys know what that means? Like, eat the donut later. There's the marshmallow test. If you guys ever Google the marshmallow test, that's a huge study. Like, you should totally Google that. So, but people, they'll put off celebrating. They'll put off celebrating, and then they fail at something. And then to make themselves feel better, they'll reward themselves by like, oh, I feel so bad today. I feel so bad. I did this wrong. Let me go get some ice cream.
Maybe one more slice of pizza.
Maybe one more slice of pizza.
Guilty.
And what happens is that they teach themselves to reward themselves for failing. Instead of, hey, I got out of bed today. Reward yourself.
I read a comic book today. I've been putting off this comic book for years. Seriously, I've done it.
So I'm gonna plant this seed in here right now for my next major goal in life. And I've talked to Dom about it years ago. So there's things that we gotta dig down into the nitty gritty. But I'm gonna go ahead and plant this seed right now. Everybody, when we come to put things like this, anybody else ever have what they call con depression? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Post-con depression.
Post-con depression. We come to something like this, and we spend 3 days around a bunch of people that are just like us. We have a blast. We start to feel like family, and then what happens? We go home. What'd you say? And then you go home.
Con drop.
And then we have con depression. So why do people like us enjoy coming to places and doing things like this so much? Well, it's because we're getting around other people like us. Why do I care so much about your success? Why do I want to help you become as successful as possible? Because down the road, we're going to be planning these things called MAG centers around the world, around the country first. Imagine a place like a MAG event planted in every major city across the country. Music, anime, gaming centers. Imagine your band having, I don't know what was so funny about that. You don't like anime? All right, well, don't come to the anime days, I guess. I don't know. So imagine for your guys' band imagine we had 50 of these things across the country. Bands like yours could tour every major city across the country and have a place for people like us that we wouldn't have to wait for 3 months or 6 months to go to.
We can
It's
be
there.
weird all the time.
The place I want to go to every day does not exist yet, and I want your help building these. So whatever you think down the road you might want to help contribute, by all means. I'm just planting some seeds right now. This is not something we're doing today, not something we're doing tomorrow. This is just something we are doing, and I'm saying it publicly so that way I'm held accountable for it, okay?
And it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't. I know everybody's first thought automatically goes to money. Donations are always accepted, but yeah. But seriously though, it could be something as small as volunteering your time. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned earlier, teaching that little kid how to, build a miniature, whatever. It could be, bringing a board game to an event. It could be teaching someone how to play said board game. You're making an impact on that person's life. You don't necessarily need to volunteer time or money. Just spread the word. Tell your friends about it. Social media. All of us have it. All of us use it.
We have a Facebook Mag Center. Join it. I've got the Play and Grow Rich channel on YouTube. By all means, jump in there, listen to it. All right, share it. Here's the thing, guys. If this event or any of these videos help you as a gamer, help your fellow gamers out and share it with them. Like the whole idea, if the more people like us that we can get to live our dreams instead of just dreaming our dreams, the easier it's going to be for people like us to build things like Mag Centers. Hey, bud, how you doing, man? I haven't met you yet. I'm James. Barnaby? Nice to meet you, Barnaby. All right, so you guys remember our original question, right? Anybody got any ideas? What are some ideas? So if you're playing a video game, I don't care what game it is. Dark Souls would be a horrible example, but it is an example. Cuphead, or what games are you guys playing right now? What are some games? Kevin, right? What are some games you're playing right now? Fallout.
Good game.
Great games. Great bunch of games. So if you come across a spot that you're like, oh man, I don't know how to overcome this, what are some things you can do as a gamer to fix that?
This isn't the water temple, man.
Admittedly, I go to Wikia,
And do what?
and I'll research either a particular quest or a particular character, and just read up on it.
And so you research it? And you learn what other people have done before you? And then you do what they did, right? Ain't that some crazy? Like when I was growing up, we had these things called strategy guides. And you had to if you didn't know how to beat a game, you had to invest in a strategy guide. Did anybody ever actually call the Nintendo hotline growing up as a kid? Yeah, I never did that. You did that? Okay. There you go. So
That's cool.
Did you know that there are walkthroughs in real life as well? There are walkthroughs that you and I have access to right now. Do you know what they call them? Friends. That is one avenue.
Yes, you too.
What else? They're called books. They're called books.
Read a book. Read a book.
Okay. Tutorials, documentaries. So there are two approaches or spectrums that I can think of that are available to us playing video games. All right. One way is to play the game extremely casually. Okay, extremely casually. And some people might call this playing the game blind. You know, basically you're going into the game and you're just going through the game, but you don't really care if you come across the secrets, or if you come across the secret or find some power-ups, fantastic. But if you don't, no big deal. It's just you're playing the game casually, right? The other approach, I've played a lot of games like that for one reason or another. It's not the right way to play the game. It's not the wrong way to play the game. It's just how we chose to play that particular game, right? The other approach is to dig deep into the game and become the best we possibly can at it. All right, this is where we search on Wikipedias. This is when we look for strategy guides, walkthroughs, watch videos on how the pros do it. We look up all the shortcuts, special items, everything we can.
Twitch.
What'd you say? Speak up, Eric. Water
Yes,
temple.
exactly.
How to get through that God-blessed water temple. We do everything we can to master the game to the best of our abilities. And there's a lot of games I've chosen to play over the years that are like that. It's not the right way to play it. It's not the wrong way to play it. It's just the way we choose. Like it's the way I chose to play that particular game because I wanted to see how far I could take it. Does that make sense? All right. So we can approach life the same way. We can play the game of life casually, or we can dig deep into the game of life. All right? There's no such thing as a self-made person. Every person that's become successful is because they got around other people that already knew how to do it and they learned from them, or they read books by them because maybe that person is no longer around. Like if you want to learn what Martin Luther King, the way he thought, you can't ask him these questions nowadays, can you? But what can you do? You can read a book that he wrote to learn how he thought. Okay?
And if you're not a book reader, that doesn't stop you from achieving these things that he's talking about. There are audiobooks now. They're like YouTube channels. There are documentaries. The equipment for you to use is available one way or another. It's up to you to actually make yourself accomplish either watching or reading it or doing whatever to learn that lesson.
You guys ever get a game where they have a little something happens in the game and you get a 10% experience boost for so many hours, or you get a little ring that now you get an extra 10% experience boost? So that's what books are in real life. You read the book, now you've learned a little bit. It's not like the book's going to do anything for you. You have to apply the knowledge. But now, after you watch that video on how this other person learned this lesson or did what they were trying to accomplish, now you get this little experience boost because now it's going to be easier for you because you actually went out and sought out the knowledge. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to share a parable with you guys that really helped convince me that reading books in particular is one of the best tools at our disposal that help us succeed at our chosen endeavor. And I remember the first time I read this. This particular, what's the word I'm looking for? Example has nothing to do with video games, so I'll just throw that out there. But in ancient times, the leaders of the people became afraid. The masses were learning what up to that point only the rich and powerful had attained, the ability to read. The leaders became afraid that if the masses learned to read, then they would no longer have control, because then the masses wouldn't need them to interpret the knowledge of the scriptures, and the magic of science would no longer keep people in amazement. What were they to do? Get their notes in the right order would be the best thing to do. Uh-oh.
Then you learn how to read.
What were they to do? The leaders held secret meetings for months and debated. What they realized is knowledge by itself is nothing. The knowledge must be applied to something of worth to make it real. If a book sits on the shelf unread, then there's nothing to fear. So what the ancient leaders decided to do was give the people what they wanted for free. Make the knowledge seem like it was of so little value that they could just go up to it and get it at any time. They knew that human beings only value what came to them by some type of sacrifice or cost. You see, they also realized that out of the small number of people that would read of their own choosing, an even smaller number would actually use the knowledge to create and innovate and become powerful themselves. They decided they would give the people their education, teach them all the knowledge in the world. In fact, they would force the populace to learn whether they wanted to or not. And so they did. They taught them to read and write and calculate intricate algebraic equations, but not actually give them any real-world application on how to use the knowledge. And instead of putting all this knowledge behind lock and key in their palaces, they decided to hold all the secrets to all of life's questions hidden in plain sight. And they called these buildings libraries. The people rejoiced at their victory, and for a time, a renaissance came over the world. And then they forgot. They forgot how hard they had fought to gain access to that knowledge and the wisdom of the ancients. They began to take it for granted, and generation by generation, the leaders fed the people what they wanted them to know. And now we have the internet on top of that. There's so much knowledge at our fingertips. Okay, we can find information at a moment's notice. I urge you, whatever it is you want to learn in life, don't just sit there and be like, man, I wish. If only this, if only that. I urge you to play the game of life. Play it as strategically as possible. Take advantage of all the things that we have available to us today and not just let life pass you by. Whatever it is that, if there's something in particular that I can help you with, if you're like, oh, if I could get an idea on how to get started on this, or anything I can do to give you a nudge, a kick in the butt, a hug, whatever you need, by all means, come up here. I'd love to chat with you and chat with you some other time. We can exchange numbers. That is pretty much it for the evening.
We even offer shots.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
There you go.
Da, 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 no.
Do you guys... So we do have a little bit more time. Is there anything you guys would like to discuss? Is there any questions or anything that... what's going on in your life that we could help with? Yes, ma'am.
I actually did give an example. I'm playing a game of Fire Emblem.
Would you mind coming up?
I wouldn't mind talking into a mic. Oh man, I'm so nervous. No, I've never. Come on. But yeah, so how many people have played Fire Emblem or have heard of it? Or any kind of strategy game? Suikoden, So in those kind of games, you cannot casually play. In fact, in those kind of games, each and every individual character has special things they do. And you have to know which character to place and where, you can't do it yourself. You can't just soup up and have one really strong character and expect them to kill everybody. So one of the things that I've been learning is how to gain more team members and delegate, because since I have a business, it can't grow or I can't go anywhere or actually defeat the enemies if I don't have the right players in the right spot.
You don't play them at their strengths.
Yes. So that's what I had to share.
Very nice. Very nice. You got something you want to share? By all means, I hope you feel comfortable with the microphone.
I need a script because I can't come up with things off the top of my head. So, I think my way of doing things can also sometimes be. Sometimes people say, "Well, why would you do it that way?" I have a thing of being an introvert a lot, and I use Pokemon as an example. If like you go and train your Pokemon to fight against a gym leader, and you keep getting defeated, I will retreat into the woods and do extra. I will overkill. I may need to only level up 3 or 4, but I'll level up 10, 15 just because I hold myself to such a high standard. So actually, one thing I would like to discuss, at what point do you say, I'm going to learn and to do as much as possible? And then if there's a skill, you're like, yeah, I'm learning a lot right now. Maybe I should just find somebody else who can do it better. Do you know where that threshold should kind of start and begin? Like, I'm trying to learn how to use Banzoogles to work on a website, but I have people around me who know how to use it. So should I take the time to learn it, or should I use the people who already know how?
Do you enjoy it?
No, I don't enjoy it.
Well, that was one question. My statement. I was talking to a microphone. Camera, what up? All right. As you were asking the question, I had the thought. Let's go back. We talking about leveling Pokemon. We hit whether you should have somebody else do it or do it yourself. God, I had something on it. It was real. It was so real. Go ahead. Respond and let me see if I can know it.
Okay, so I know you guys pretty well, so it's not personal. Okay, so sharing everybody. So it's time versus money. It's time versus money. How valuable is your time, and how much money would that particular endeavor cost you? Like, is it cheaper for you to do it yourself, or is it cheaper for you to give it to somebody else to do it?
As far as time and it being done right and not having to revise things, it would be better if I had somebody else do it. Maybe I would watch them, but that's probably a better option.
Like, I haven't taken out. I don't check my own mail, right? I don't wash my own car. I try not to fill up my own car with gas. I try to have I do 3 things. There's really only 3 things a day that I actually like. There's some things I can't delegate. I can't delegate somebody using the bathroom for me. I can't delegate somebody. I can't delegate somebody working out for me. There's certain things that I have to do myself. But everything else, basically I'm either working on my business, spending time with my loved ones, or playing video games, like me time. And those are the only 3 things I do. I don't wash clothes. I don't anything else that I can delegate. But when I first got started, I couldn't afford to do that. But everything that I could afford to, because does that make sense? Does that make sense? Well, no, I'm not saying not to wash your clothes. I'm not saying that but if you are at that point where, hey, it costs you more money, like I don't mow the lawn because I pay somebody wants to make $50 to mow the lawn for me. Somebody wants to do that, and they're fired up for it. So in video games, like how in some video games, like right now I'm playing Monster Hunter. You got anybody else playing Monster Hunter? Okay, so you got to know the palicos, right? The safari palicos, you send them out for you to go gather all these materials for you, right? And then you pay them research points or money to go get all those materials for you. Now, you don't have to do that, but it's faster. You level up faster because you delegate, because they're fired up. That's what they're born for. That's what they love to do. Let them do it. That's their strength. That's their skill set. It doesn't make you like you. I remember you said the way you put it on one of our interviews. If you want to be a barista, just because your dream isn't fame and fortune like yours is, just because their dream isn't fame and fortune like yours is, doesn't make it better or worse. It's different. But by golly, let the guy who wants to be a barista be the barista. You don't need to make your own coffee. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help answer your question?
Yes, I have a phone call.
A what? A what?
A phone call to me.
A phone call to make. Good to go. Good to go. What else? Anybody else? I think we got. Yes, sir. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Quinn. This is my second MAGFest, my first MAGLabs. So one of the things that I really take with me from games, I used to play Magic the Gathering competitively. I play a lot of Dominion now, and one of that is to accept the variance.
Wait. Dominion.
Yes.
Man after his own heart.
We're
gonna be friends.
Okay, yeah, see you later.
Or enemies.
Depending how you play. Yeah, and that's just to kind of know when to accept the variance that happens in life, because you can do things like perfectly, and as gamers we're kind of perfectionists sometimes, thinking as long as we do things right, as long as we get better, that things will go right for us. But even if you're prepared for everything in Magic, you try to side deck for like everybody in the meta, but even so, that even if you give yourself that advantage and you do things right, sometimes they don't go your way, and then you just have to say that's just a part of life, and that doesn't mean that like I did something wrong, or like I need to change everything about who I am.
Sometimes the unexpected happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it can be a good decision even if it didn't go right.
Do you watch Star Trek by chance?
I do not.
So who I think Brian knows exactly what I'm about to say. What am I about to say, Brian? About Picard, what Picard said to Data. So, you know it? You know exactly what I'm talking about?
You can commit no mistakes and still lose. Absolutely. He said that to Data after he played a game of Stratagema against a superior opponent.
So, life isn't fair. Life's not fair. We can't complain about, somebody else had a chance to play. If somebody else has played the game before you, oh well. If they got into the beta and they had 2 weeks to practice before you, and now you're trying to jump in and they're 2 weeks ahead of you, oh well. Life's not fair. Picard told Data, you can make no mistakes and still lose. That's nothing to be ashamed of. That's just life. That's a part of life. So he's talking about Magic the Gathering. He has all these different strategies, and he could plan out everything to the letter. And then all plans look great on paper until the actual battle happens, right? Absolutely. Okay. So as I'm closing this out, Brian, how many events were you at? The very first MAG event? MAG 7? Oh, really? Your first MAG was mine too? I did not know that. I thought you'd been coming for years before that.
No, I
Gotcha. So think how many years is this mag? Like what year is this? Mag 17? Mag 20? From Mag 1 to Mag 20? Here's what I want you guys to think about. Okay? So the very first mag event had maybe 100 people at it. Maybe 100 people at it. I don't know all the numbers. In fact, Hachi, you might actually know the numbers from year 2, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But next thing you know, so Mag 1 had like 100 people. Mag 2, let's say, had 200 people. Mag 3 had 400 people. Mag 6 had like maybe 1,000. Mag 7, the next thing you know, I think Mag 7 was that here, and Mag 8 was the last one we had here, right? 6 through 9 were here? So we went from 3,000. So how many years did it take to hit that tipping point? 9 years. 9 years. So a lot of times we get this, man, I've been doing this for 2 weeks. I've been working my butt off for 2 weeks now. I've been dieting for 2 weeks now, and I can't see anything. I can't see any results. I've been working out for 3 months now, and I cannot see a difference.
That extra slice of pizza.
So when we're seeing people that, here's what I'm going to warn you against. Like Angela, I'm going to bring this back to what Angela said earlier. We see people on Facebook and all these social media apps, and they're showing you what they want you to see. They're showing you what they want you to see. They're not showing you all the stuff that they did to get there, all the stuff that they did before they could accomplish those things, because that's not sexy. They're not going to show that part. They're not going to show the part where they slept. Like there's what's the band that sing Sweet Child of Mine? Guns N' Roses? I'm pretty sure it's Guns N' Roses. They did an interview where this lady's like, their first major hit album, and she walks up to him and she's like, so, I'm pretty sure it was actually, she's like, so, how do you explain your overnight success? And he looked at her and he was like, overnight success, my ass. We've been sleeping in people's basements in our tour bus for 10 years before you knew who I was. 10 years. Whatever it is you want to become good at, whatever it is that you want, Itari, like, this is such a big hurdle that I'm about to, I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because something I've got to make sure you understand, no matter how good you think you should be at it, it's going to take longer than you wanted it to. It's going to cost more money than you thought it would. And it's going to be, it's going to be, yes. A lot of sleepless nights. Yes,
a little je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, a little je ne sais quoi. What does that mean? I don't know. Exactly. So the little story behind that, I'm with my wife last night, and she said je ne sais quoi, and I was like, what does that mean? She's like, I don't know. And so we Googled it, and Google said it's a fancy way of saying I don't know. I was like, damn it, why does my wife always have to be right? You know, even when she doesn't know she's right, she's right. All right. Any other parting things? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. No, if you can't talk down there, you got to talk up here.
All right, so I come across these people often. I actually did today again. So question for you, because it's not a problem that I've ever had. What do you say to the people who know they want to do something? It may be not so broad, but like, again, like music or opening a business or something like that, but they just don't know what. So because you don't know what it is, and you're spending time and you're kind of like, I'm not sure, maybe I should try this, and you spend time and you stop and you just keep going everywhere, like, how do you find that thing that you like and want to do?
That is the question of the ages, isn't it? So what's worth? So I'll ask you this: the answer for you is going to be different than it is going to be for Steven or Kevin. And shoot, what was your name again? Quinn. It's going to be different for everybody in this room. So, what is it that gets you up out of bed in the morning? What is it that gets you out? For some people, yes.
I'd like to draw that back to something she said earlier.
Please.
So for me, getting up and going to do what I do at my office, I work with AV stuff, and they let me play with all types of crazy toys, laser cutters, 3D printers. I do fun shit. So when my alarm clock goes off, it's not, hey, I should hit snooze. I don't have to think, today I'm going back to the office to do the same fucking thing again. I'm stoked. I jump out of bed and get my face washed, get my ass cleaned, and get in the car and go. Because I'm going to have an entire day playing with a whole new fun rig. I get to do something different all the time. But my wife is laying in my bed right next to me. And my alarm clock goes off. And I get up and I get my whole thing going. And I'm stoked. She's still laying there. Her alarm clock goes off. Not a movement. Her alarm clock goes off 10 minutes later because she hit snooze. She has set up an alarm clock that she has to figure out math equations because it's going to wake me up, I promise. She does not want to go back to work. What's happening at the office every day for her happens every single day. It's a monotonous, repetitive thing that, whether she does it well or does it terribly, doesn't directly affect her. She doesn't gain anything or lose anything by going into work today. But let the Ren Fair come around. The alarm don't even have to go off. She's a breeze, just straight through the house like the Flash. Next thing I know, I am home alone. I've been abandoned because some folks came in fancy dress a couple of miles down the road. It's nuts. But that's what I would get from that.
Perfect example. So what is it that gets you out of bed in the morning? So here's another way to ask it. What's worth fighting for you? Here's an even better way to ask it. What's worth dying for? Like if on your deathbed, you came to yourself and said, like, I'm all your dreams, like the different incarnations, like this is what you could have been. This is the thing that you said, but. You know, these are the future selves that could have been you. Like, what would you? How would you react to that? Okay, so not just what was worth fighting for, what's worth dying for. And by the way, playing those, like, you got to try out a bunch of different games to see which ones you enjoy. Like, just because you play Street Fighter for the first time, doesn't mean that's got to be the only game you ever play. But the things you learn from Street Fighter, well, then next time you pick up Tekken, I mean, oh my God, I love this game. But if you hadn't played Street Fighter, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't, like, you carried over lessons from one game to the next. You can't, this is something I learned from World of Warcraft. You can't lose experience. You don't lose experience. There's no...
Fucking nerd.
Nerds. So, no matter how many times you fail, no matter how many times you die, you're not going to lose that memory, those experiences of what you went through. And as long as you take those experiences and move on to, when you're moving on to the next game, it's a net positive. It's net positive. But you can't, a lot of times, especially for people like us, we want things more for other people than they want it for themselves. Yeah. And you can't make that, like, there's three things in life it's very hard to do. It's very, very, very hard. Like when I was in the Marine Corps, they would give us these fences to climb, and they were leaning towards us. It's very hard to climb a fence leaning towards you. It is very hard to kiss my wife when she's doing this thing, leaning away from me. It's very hard to kiss a woman that's leaning away from you. And it's very hard to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. You ain't the only one, bro. Don't worry. No, you ain't the only one. when you know what I'm talking about, like you do the lean in for the kiss. She's like, oh, you don't get a kiss for that.
You forgot to
it's
do the
just me.
dishes this time.
Yeah. But guys, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I hope it helps. And let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Well, who was the panel that is next?
In Makerspace. Jesus Christ, I cannot talk. Makerspace. They are having a full-on video game discussion. So if you just want to go talk video games for the next however many hours you may or may not be sober, make your way there. I believe it is near like the lock picking and the food trucks and stuff. So yeah. Yes. But thank you guys. Once again, I am Jane Poston, also Angela, and this is Itari Living Sacrifice. You can find both of us on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And we also sometimes do escape rooms, so we're always welcome to hang out sometime, help us out, figure out how to escape from these rooms, because sometimes, Lord, I want to kill him. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.